You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
This is East Carolina Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz first-round draft pick Blue Edwards. You're listening to Pirate Basketball Overtime on the Sports Objective, your home for the best East Carolina hoops coverage.
Welcome into Pirate Basketball Overtime right here on the Sports Objective. Pirates get a big one tonight. Big win, 85-84 over Kennesaw State. What a game, a heavyweight fight. We're talking about the whole MTE, and that's the TowneBank Holiday Classic. With us right now, all the way from China Grove, Bubba Rosenbaum. What's up, man?
Heck of a night to be a Pirate. What a shot by Bobby Pettiford. I guess like I put there on the screen around a 55-footer, but well beyond half court. And it looked like we were going to potentially lose a heartbreaker, but we found a way to get it done. Obviously, like Coach Schwartz said in the post game, we know that it was very fortunate type of shot, but hats off to the guys for continuing to play. When Kennesaw State took that 84-82 lead there with just 2.5 seconds left.
Yeah, 2.7 seconds. And we'll bring in now Kyle from LaGrange Barber. I heard you scream all the way from LaGrange while I was in Greenville.
Actually, you did. You probably did. I actually hurt my hernia when I did. I'm not kidding you. I don't know. But no, it was unbelievable. We were talking about before the show. We've made a lot of last-second shots, a lot of last-second threes, but none of us can think of a half-court or, that kind of beyond half-court shot to win a game, the Hail Mary at the end. We've had it happen against us, but we can't remember hitting it ourselves. Like I said, a lot of last-second wins and threes, but the first time I can remember us doing that. If somebody remembers differently in the comment section, put it, because I was trying to seem like there maybe was a game in the 90s. I'm not thinking over that we couldn't think of. But anyway, yeah, exciting win. Unbelievable shot by Bobby Pettiford Jr. And to me, it's a huge win because you lose three you lose three of your last four. You lose two in the holiday tournament, and suddenly it changes everything around. Now you've won two in a row. You took 2 out of 3 of the holiday tournament. You're 4-2 on the year instead of 3-3. And, now you feel like you can go to George Mason. And if you can pull off the upset at George Mason, then you kind of are where you thought you were going to be, because I think most people would have expected us to have ran through, be undefeated at this point, or maybe have one loss and then maybe lose to Mason. So to me, if you can go up at George Mason now, you can get a win back, kind of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and you're right about that. It's amazing how one shot is a difference between that. I hadn't thought about that, 3-3 versus 4-2. I knew the record was, but that really razor thin, right, Bubba? I mean, it was in this game tonight was very, I think, characteristic of the head coach, Mike Schwartz. He's tough. He's working really hard with these guys and never give up. And anything about basketball, I told my buddy, my colleague sitting with me, I said, it's going to come tonight. It's going to come down to the last shot. I didn't know it was going to be anything like that. I'm not saying that, but man, when he put that thing up, I was like, it looks good. It looks good. When the thing went in, oh man, that was pandemonium. I didn't see Diane Pons on the court. I thought she'd be on the court celebrating that. We talked about that earlier.
You're just glad it happened, but God, if it would have been a normal night, not the last day of a holiday tournament, 6 o'clock tip off with no students there hardly, because they all left for Thanksgiving, that place would have been, twice as electric.
By the way, great point. I want to ask you guys this, and then we'll talk about the basketball game. But I had an atmosphere question for both of you. You guys, and Bubba was with me on Sunday. I know that probably people would say it's not fair for the people that are up in the upper deck to sit in the seats where they're already purchased. However, I would like to see it do. Bubba, I was thinking about you when we went a couple years ago, that Charlotte game, and we bought tickets on the bleachers on that side. That's now the seats. But I wish they would do something like that, because that would have made that whole lower bowl like really, really loud.
You mean if the seats aren't filled by halftime?
Students.
With the student area.
Yeah.
Bring when the students aren't going to be there.
Right.
Allow. I mean, why not?
They do that for Christmas. I was just saying, since we had the MTE, I'm not being critical because they did a good job with the tournament. But we had people that, in other words, there might have been some that would have still been on the upper bowl, but that lower bowl, if you had that whole lower bowl full, it is really loud. And it was loud there at the end when, we started to really catch up. And the student section, I don't know if you guys saw that, but they were at the end zone behind the basket. And that guy made, let's give a shout out to Kennesaw State. That guy made an incredible shot, well defended. He makes an incredible shot. And then, as Coach talked about in the press conference, Ezra Asar makes a unbelievable pass. It was like he didn't get rattled. He makes a great pass to Bobby Pettiford. Pettiford looked, and that's one thing, guys, you guys know, a lot of times guys don't pay attention to the clock, and so they put a shot up too late and it goes in and it doesn't count. Bobby he had his eyes, he knew where he was on the court.
Yeah, in fact, Dave, to that point, I almost thought he rushed it at first. This is before it went in. I thought, well, why you rushed it? We could have got off a regular three or got closer. He hit it with such good time. I didn't even know why they reviewed it, because initially I thought he rushed it a little bit.
And that ball was in the air like halfway there before the buzz, and then the buzzer went.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a question of that. But you're right. I mean, many times you do see that where guys will rush a shot, or they get kind of rattled because they go, "Oh my God, it's too." And Ezra just acted like that it was a regular inbounds pass. That was really, Coach talked about. I didn't think about that because things happen so quick. But that was a great point he made for those two great players.
Yeah,
there it is on Sports Center.
I made it.
We're like at the beginning of Sports Center.
You say it's the lead in the Sports Center?
It's not the lead in, but it's one of the top stories.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Well, hey, they show the top 10 later in the show.
This is fantastic coverage. They are talking about that at length.
Awesome.
Wow.
Let us know where it ranks in the top 10 when they show the top 10.
I should get off of here and go back and rewind my DVR and record that so we can we share ESPN content?
No,
we cannot.
Okay, never mind then.
But yeah, speaking of the play of Bobby Pettiford, definitely his best game as a Pirate, not just because of that shot, but Bobby finished with 18 points, 4 out of 7 from 3. And you talk about just staying with things. We trailed, I don't know, probably 35 plus minutes of this game. Maybe even more than that. I mean, we were essentially trailing all night long, outside of a couple of minutes. Trailed by as many as 14, 32 to 18 in the first half. And that was, I guess, a little over halfway, or not quite halfway through the first half.
We cut it. We took the lead with just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. But was it 1?
Okay, so yeah, it was 32-18 Kennesaw State with 9:11 left in the first half, and then yes, the Pirates The Pirates tied it with just over 4.5 minutes left in the half, 39 all on a Brandon Johnson layup, and then we trailed 47-43 at halftime, and then in the second half, Kennesaw stretched that lead. Let's see, back out to at least 9, if not double figures. And then I know we trailed by 7 in the final 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's one thing, guys, that was really impressive to see is the fact that a lot of times when you get down 14, guys will. I thought one of the things that was impressive about this team is they seem to be. I don't know if you guys thought this, but it seemed like the whole game we were pretty well poised and we didn't have a lot of bad possessions. A lot of times with our Pirate teams, they'll run down the court and they don't really move the ball around. And but tonight it felt like that they were really playing well together. And you had 4 guys, Bubba. Hey, you're gonna be proud of me, Bubba. You're the numbers guy, not me. But we had 4 guys in double figures, and Brandon Johnson. I just knew we were going to get the 5th one, and Brandon Johnson ended up with 9 points. He was really, I don't know if you guys noticed, he and RJ were really tired tonight, and that was one of the things I was impressed with.
Well, he also hurt his ankle during the game, so hopefully it's not too bad. He came back out and played more after the ankle injury.
We were talking about that. It looked like he rolled it. It didn't look like that, but I mean, I'm not a doctor or obviously anyone like an athletic trainer, but it looked like when he came down.
But you are an athletic supporter.
I am. That's right. Thank you, sir. I am.
It was 78-70 with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, so they didn't. And Kyle, you were right. I'm sorry.
That was blurry, because of the way the game ended. But yeah, it was an 8-point deficit with 3 remaining, so that makes it all the more impressive.
I just kept feeling like we were going to win that game. I kind of felt it. I kind of felt the guys had a sense of urgency. I just kind of felt like we had to win it, and lo and behold, we did. I like that too. The fact that the team kind of felt like I did and then got it done is a good sign. I know the defense isn't what we thought it was going to be early. I think they'll get that fixed as the season goes. But the fact that those guys had that sense of urgency, that they felt like they had to win that game, is a good sign.
Bubba, can you help me out on I forgot to ask you pre-show, so I apologize, but how about rebounds? Rebounding has been something we didn't do very well on Sunday.
It was better tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as it was Sunday. In the second half,
it was better.
Last night it was much better. As you mentioned, on Sunday, I think Northeastern out-rebounding us 35-27.
Yeah.
And we'll go back in a few minutes and quickly talk about that 82-64 win on Monday night against Georgia Southern. But tonight, the Pirates out-rebounded Kennesaw State 47-37.
Wow.
And on the offensive glass, it was 16-13 in favor of East Carolina. So
can you see did they show the first half versus second half? Like Kyle said, it seemed like the first half we didn't do as well rebounding.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get those numbers in a couple minutes. But taking a look at some of the other numbers, for Kennesaw State, it was them knocking down threes in the first half.
Yeah. Was it 10 or 22?
They hit 10 out of 22.
That's their game.
Yeah.
They were very good at it.
And they shot them even better tonight than they had, according to Coach Schwartz. I'm not sure their percentage from 3 coming into the game, but they had obviously scored 96 points in that victory over Georgia Southern in the first game. And then in last night's buzzer beater victory over Northeastern, I think it was 79-77. So, according to Coach Schwartz in the NCAA statistics, they rank number 1 in terms of pace of play. And so they like to get up and down the court. They finished tonight 14 out of 38 from 3, just shy of 37% from the floor. They were 31 out of 69, 44.9%, just 8 out of 16 from the free throw line. And 4 of those 8 misses were by Burden. the talented guard, who did such an excellent job getting to the basket. East Carolina, meanwhile, as far as team statistics, Pirates were 26 out of 63, 41.3%, just 5 out of 18 from three-point range, and only had one make that was made by Bobby Pettiford. 5 out of 18 again for the Pirates. Pettiford was 4 for 7. And then the thing that really won it for East Carolina, in addition to Pettiford's shot, was the tremendous 28 out of 40 performance at the line. When I say tremendous, I'm talking about shooting 40 free throws. 28 out of 40 is not bad, and 70%.
And it was in the 70s. So it's 70. Okay.
And talking about Bobby Pettiford Jr., you just mentioned him by name, obviously made the three. And yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but just think about that, guys. That shot tonight, that one shot, went from it going just being just another loss, a bad, not a bad loss. Kennesaw State was in the tournament last year, but another loss for East Carolina to suddenly, when is the last time East Carolina basketball or East Carolina anything was one of the top stories on SportsCenter?
It would have to be.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable coverage for us.
Yeah. And think about all the people watching. Like you said, it's free publicity. You can't buy that.
Exactly.
JR has a stat for you guys. For us, the Pirates are number 25 out of the 332 Division I teams in offensive rebounds. They secure an offensive rebound in 38% of opportunities. And if you know anything about this team,
we've improved a lot since that first game.
Yes, we have. And Justin says, what a heck of a throw. Yeah, you have to have the great pass from Ezra to Bobby, and then Bobby had the IQ and the basketball with wherewithal to know when to release that ball. And like I said, Kyle, we were talking, it's like that. If you look at that video again of that shot, the ball is midair when the buzzer goes off.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of times
I thought he
guys will
rushed
rush it.
Yeah, that's what I thought he did at first.
And obviously, it's a low probability shot, but that is one thing. He was able to get close enough to have court where it was a legitimate shot and not a
prayer.
And not a throw.
That thing was like a 10. I mean, as far as the trajectory of the ball, and it looked good. And it's almost like. And Justin says the one game I missed. I was there. Oh, I knew thank you for putting that up, Justin. Hey, Kyle, how many people now are going to lie and say they were at that game?
I am.
Okay. I thought about that.
At least, obviously you'll take that anytime, but nice to have it here early in the season. And there are certainly legitimate reasons why attendance was not what it will be later in the season tonight, with it being the third consecutive game and so on and so forth. Students being out of town after classes ended today, and many had already gone home anyway prior to Tuesday. But yeah, it's that experience like that with the students getting to run on the court, the limited number that were still in town, or from local Eastern North Carolina towns, and made the trip there. It was great to see them have the opportunity to rush the court, and then
Bubba, I don't want to.
Obviously, momentum. It will get people wanting to come out to Minji's to see what this team's all about.
Bob, I didn't mean to interrupt you here, but I went back and rewound on my DVR. It was the top story on SportsCenter. We are the top sports story on SportsCenter on ESPN2. The Maui Classic or whatever's going on over on ESPN. So East Carolina basketball is the top story on SportsCenter on ESPN2.
That is great.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and and one thing I want to mention to you guys, I was thinking about it because I was mad about the crowd not being there, but I personally said another thing is we're not used to as Pirate fans to have an MTE at home and have the 3 games and have that at the holiday. If they make that a tradition, then which I hope they do, then it'll be great for our fans, and fans would have an opportunity to go, oh yeah, it's near Thanksgiving, we're going to have the TowneBank Holiday Classic.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's the first year of it. I think.
Yep,
You
you're
know,
right.
I don't know how logistics are. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. To me, I don't know what the best days to do it are. I don't know what was behind 6 o'clock tip-offs. I think 7 o'clock tips would help the crowd a little bit. I don't know if that was an ESPN Plus where we had to do it kind of thing. I'm not sure how much flexibility we have, but yeah, I hope it becomes a tradition. And you're right, kind of like with the Clark or the Kiefer Clare tournament.
Right.
You know it's happening every year, so you can prepare to be there.
And the another thing is high school basketball. We have a lot of holiday tournaments like in Raleigh and different places. So it'd be cool to have this for East Carolina basketball. And by the way, guys, Kennesaw State won on a buzzer beater last night, and here we are tonight. We won on a buzzer beater. So I thought that was rather ironic as they won and now how we won tonight. Justin has an interesting question. I didn't know about this, so y'all have to help me on this one. He says, what do y'all think about the announcement about the boys traveling to Spain and France next year?
I know nothing about it.
So, Bubba, do you know about that?
I'd heard about it briefly, but certainly no details. But that's something that's not all that uncommon. Teams do that. Obviously, the experience. I mean, I know Tulane had the opportunity to represent the United States. I believe it was in China. I remember last time we had Corey Glore on, he talked about that.
So what are they doing over the summer?
You do it. You're allowed to do one, right, Bubba, in a 4-year span or something like that. They have a rule on it
like that. I'm not sure all the ins and outs and rules of it, but it'll be
over the summer.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a great opportunity for the guys to obviously to get to see those countries and to bond, develop as a team, and then everything that a trip like that entails.
Do we know offhand? That'd be interesting. I know you don't, so I don't know why I'm asking if either one of you do, but this would be a good thing to research. Is the kind of success rate typically a team has following one of those tournaments? They typically have good seasons, NCAA tournament seasons, whatever a high bar would be for that particular team, or does it seem to make a difference, or maybe it has a negative impact sometimes?
And Kennesaw State, guys, is the best team we played. I mean, they were a tournament team last year, and those guys were back. That team that you saw tonight,
some of them were back. Some
not all of them, but
some of them were South Florida Bulls that we'll be seeing later in the season.
Right.
They followed their coach there to Tampa, but yes, per Coach Schwartz in the post game, some of those guards that we were seeing tonight, at least, if to go back and see exactly how many were part of that team last year that nearly pulled the first round upset. I'm trying to remember who it was they played, but they nearly took someone down, led by 15 or 20 points, and unfortunately lost a close game.
Yeah, they I would think they would have to be the best team we played so far. You look at our schedule. I mean, unless somebody like Upstate or Northeastern is just better than projected. On paper, Kennesaw State's the best team we played so far. Yeah,
according to Coach Schwartz, and this didn't shock me, they're the preseason pick to win their league.
Yeah. And what? I know they're going to Conference USA next year. ASUN, okay, yeah, Conference USA next year.
Yeah, and they, I really like. They have a great coach, and they were. I tell you what, Bubba, that display they had, that their passing was just. It was. I know I'm a Pirate fan, but their passing had you in awe. Like if you were a basketball fan watching it, and I was kind of mad because obviously I'm an East Carolina guy, but they were really sound on fundamentals like passing to make those threes to be open and not contested threes.
Yeah, they look good.
No question about it. Okay, Bubba, it's you and me, Kyle. So I thought overall, by the way, I wanted to let you know that Justin, how about this? Justin says he's going to sign up to cover the sports objective over there. I think you need to go over there, Kyle. You could do the running of the bulls. What do you think?
I don't
In Spain.
think I'm gonna do the running of anything. But no,
I think that's
I'll go. Look, I will go cover East Carolina for the sports objective in Spain. If you're gonna pay for it.
If they were going to be in France or Spain, you take your pick. Which would you rather?
Yeah, I'll have to do my research and see which one I'd rather go to. I would not be able to answer that question with a educated answer.
You could take you can take your wife to Paris, to Paris, France, but also Spain is both of them are very beautiful. So
Spain's got the gondolas, right?
Yeah.
So
both of them have great. That's a hard decision. I'll leave that up to you.
All right, I'll just send you the bill.
Okay, sounds good. JR says random stats while we're waiting on Bubba. The Pirates have shot an average of 10.2 more free throws per game than their opponents, 161 to 100. And they're averaging 82 points through their first 6 games, which is the most. Hey, how about this, Kyle? The 2013-2014 season. So there you go. That was, if we stay on par with that, it wasn't it was after the CIT win, championship win, but we went to the CIT again in 2014. So I know we'd be going to like CBI or maybe NIT if we can keep if we can keep this up. 82.
But defense has got to get better.
Of course.
Would think it would.
You know what's funny is I thought it's the reverse. I thought the defense would be very good and we couldn't score.
Yeah, you have 2 of the best defensive coaches in the game.
Yeah,
on your staff, and yeah, they're gonna. Our defense is. I can't imagine it not getting better.
No, it'll do that. Hey, Justin Butts, he says he'll take the podcast to Spain and France. And hey, Justin, you can go on our European tour and you can get more listeners.
Justin, is you gonna drive your hauler over there?
The Queen Man. Yeah, he's gonna take the equipment over there and via plane, I guess charter, right?
Okay,
hey, Justin, if you
drive
do that,
to France.
Yeah, Justin, if you do that, we'll come through for you, and I promise you, we'll get you
a credential.
Well, that too, but we'll also get you a polo shirt for the sports objective. Justin will know where that reference is coming from.
Yeah, Kyle, we can get him a couple shirts. We can get them made at your shop, right?
Sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, obviously we're gonna pay for it.
We'll get you an established 1932 hat. We need to get some.
Oh yeah.
We need to get some established 1932 gear for basketball.
I forgot to tell you guys, this is on air, but I forgot to tell you guys maybe a month ago or more. I had this dream that that the 1932 brand that we have like just really blew up, and we were just like in shock, like sales were going, and Bubba's freaking out because he's going, guys, we need to, what can we do, because we've got this, we don't have the inventory. And that's all I remember from the dream. And then of course I woke up, I was really disappointed because I thought we had sold a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, maybe one of these days, 1932, I really, it seems it's so real.
It's just gonna take on a life of its own. It's not even gonna be associated with ECU anymore. It's just gonna be its own brand. It's gonna be like Salt Life or
okay, yeah,
Southern your mama or whatever.
Southern woman.
It's all the Southern T-shirt brands that the girls wear.
Yeah,
Southern Girl, Southern Comfort, Cotton Southern, my lily white Southern ass. I don't.
Kyle's on a roll tonight, Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Southern. Yeah. They have the boutique.
There's about 24. Yeah. Those different companies. Yeah.
Simply Southern.
That's one of them. Yeah. That's one of them. But there's about 24 other ones.
Bubba, do you have any Simply Southern t-shirts?
I do not.
Okay. I didn't think you did. That would be like if Bubba loses a bet, he has to wear a Simply Southern t-shirt. That's not going to happen, right?
A pink one.
Oh my God! No, I wouldn't make him do that.
But Dave, going back to your point that you were making just a few minutes ago, as far as the Pirates and the scoring tonight.
Yep.
And we did have 4 guys, as you mentioned, in double figures. I talked about Bobby Pettiford having 18 points. Bobby also had 3 assists. 6 out of 10 from the floor, 4 out of 7 from three in 33 minutes. Showed that explosion that we had seen in previous games, getting to the basket, but then shown what he had not to this point, knocking down the 3-point shot. So hopefully that will continue, because it had been a little frustrating in previous games when they would play off of him and he wouldn't shoot it. But that should definitely give him some confidence tonight, because he'd already knocked down 3 prior to the game winner from 55 feet. And so the other 3 Pirates that were in double figures, leading the way, R.J. Felton. R.J. came into the game leading ECU with nearly 21 points a game. So R.J., not his best shooting night, but did make 9 free throws.
I was going to talk about that. Yep.
And then finished with 19 points and 10 rebounds. And then you also had Ezra Asar, 14 points, 9 rebounds. Jaden Walker, an excellent game for Jaden. He also had a double-double, 13 points and 11 rebounds. So you had 2 guys with double-doubles, with Jaden Walker and then RJ. But then you had Ezra that was a rebound shy of a double-double with 14 and 9. And then you also had Brandon Johnson, 9 points and 7
He was so close.
So you were a rebound shy of having 3 guys with double-doubles, and then not all that far away from a fourth double-double.
Yeah, they what that says, Kyle, is that what's great about this team is they're very unselfish. And DeBouge last night, 7 3-pointers. He had like 27, 28 points last night. And when you have a tournament, the reason why I brought that up, when you have a tournament, in the past, it seems like we would have 1 or 2 good guys, players, but this team, not only the talent-wise, but this team is really, really has a chance to be special. And I don't mean like, I'm not like going nuts or crazy like NCAA team, but they have the potential to do something special this year. When I say special, more than just winning a tournament game in the AAC.
Yeah, we could be a 20-plus win team, and whether we choose to accept the CBI invite or not would be up to Gilbert. But
I would.
if you finish, look, if you finish 5th in the American like we're projected, if we don't, we can't keep having bad losses non-conference.
Right.
But if you finish 5th in the American, if Florida Atlantic and Memphis and all are as good as advertised, you have a good chance of making the NIT. So
yeah, because you have 2 or 3. You're going to have 2 or 3. This is probably I'm going to go on a limb. Bubba, help me reel me in if I'm wrong. I'm going to say this is a 3-bid league this year.
It could be. It's definitely a 2-bid league.
Yeah,
it could be a 3-bid.
It's right there on the bubble. We'll see. But you're right, Kyle. That would be in the second year of Schwartz. That would be great. And he's such a great guy, great coach.
If you look last year at Conference USA, they got 1 in the NCAA tournament, 1 or 2 in the NCAA tournament, and then 2 in the NIT. UAB
Charlotte
UAB in North Texas.
I'm sorry, and then Charlotte was in the.
They
CBI.
won the CIT.
CIT.
Yeah. So I'm just talking about as far as NIT goes. So if you think about it, the 5th place team in the American, if we finish where we're projected, we should be in that NIT discussion, but that's a long way from now.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
A long way from now.
I'm not trying to make early predictions or anything. I'm just saying, based on Johnny's stats and based on the coaching we have, the players, they're working their tails off before practice, after practice, and so it's going to be exciting. In fact, you're right. You make a great point, Kyle, with a non-conference. But another thing, not only that.
We have a chance to get some good non-conference wins, and
right.
This is. I made the point earlier. I don't know if it was on the air or off the air. That losing to Northeastern and South Carolina Upstate on paper right now are bad losses. I don't know how many people.
South Carolina. I'm sorry. With South Carolina Upstate is not a bad loss. They're actually they've held. There's a lot of games that they've taken teams down to the wire.
Well. either way,
Right.
if
We
you can
shouldn't have lost.
if you can upset George Mason this Saturday, I don't think a lot of people had that penciled in as a win as our very first road game. So if you could figure out a way to win to beat them up there, then to me you kind of get the Northeastern or the Upstate game back, if that makes any sense.
I had another question I want to ask you guys. I double checked to make sure. This is a TV question, so either one of you can answer or both. Why in the world do we have the basketball game and the football game starting at the same time?
Well, we don't dictate when the basketball game starts.
I mean, that's
at George Mason. So
it's 2 o'clock and 2 o'clock.
Right, but we have nothing to do with the time of the basketball game. And as far as the football game, I don't know. Again, it's ESPN Plus. You're not just given a wide open. They want a certain amount of games on at certain times. So I don't know what the window opportunities were for us. I would have chose a different time.
3:30.
Yeah, well, it
12
would
o'clock?
be whatever was available besides 2 o'clock. So it didn't. Well, if you do it at 12 o'clock, the football game's still going to be going at 2. But
yeah,
I don't know what was available. So I don't know.
That's a question I've been wanting to ask some.
Well, that's a good question for Gilbert. That if we could have put the football game at at 3:30 or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 6. It's going to be cold. So you don't want to get too late. But it is a good question. Obviously, we can't control what time George Mason has the game scheduled. But did we have any leeway with ESPN Plus for the Tulsa game? I have no idea. We might not. We might have had 0.
Yeah, just a sad thing because we got both. I love both teams. Obviously, being East Carolina and their own. I'm going to be at the football game on Saturday, so it's going to be kind of we'll keep up with it via phone. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do.
I'll certainly have my certainly make sure my phone's on the charger on the way to Greenville, so that way, at the football game.
Well, what would be nice is
we'll be able to watch
wins.
What would be nice is if it's halftime, the Mason game is coming to an end, and they can put it on the jumbotron. Yeah.
I was getting ready to ask you guys about. You read my mind, Kyle. If they could do, how they do the live look-ins.
Is the A10 with ESPN Plus?
I don't know.
It is
okay.
It is an ESPN Plus game.
So yeah, we should be able to do that.
All right, and here's an interesting point from Robert Paul. He says we would have beaten Northeastern if Brandon Johnson played, and he's right. Northeastern's good, but missing Brandon Johnson for 2 games, those were two games, 2 losses. So if you watch him on the court, he's kind of like having another coach on the court. He is a big time leader, and Bubba, you remember when he was a freshman, he's matured so much. I know he's upperclassman, a junior now, but he is really pointing to the guys like where it's almost like you see a defense or offense in football and, guys kind of pointing out where the other guy's supposed to, line up. He's doing the same thing as far as defense. You see him before the ball is inbounded, and he's pointing to the guys like, I need you over here. I need you over here. I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he's definitely a team leader. And speaking of defense, this is something that jumped off the stat sheet tonight. We don't block a ton of shots, but tonight we blocked 8. You had Ezra Sarr with Ezra had 3. Brandon Johnson that you just referenced, and what he means to the Pirate defense and just communication and otherwise. BJ had 2. Quentin DeBunge had 1. RJ had 1. Jaden Walker had 1. And I guess it was last night. It seemed like it was tonight's game, but I guess it was last night. I remember Sear Malonga. He had a blocked shot with the left hand. And hopefully that's something that as the season wears on, we'll see him continue to play better and better. And that has been the case in these last 2 or 3 games. He seems a little more confident, obviously, like you would expect, the more minutes that he gets. You also, in addition, we talked about some of the leading scorers. Wanted to go back to last night's game to talk about Quentin DeBunge's performance. Tonight he just had 4. Last night he had 27. So you think about it. I talk about tonight how we had 4 guys in double figures, but
Hmm.
you have RJ that's averaging about 21 a game, something like that. Then RJ's had 2 games where he's 30 plus. You had Brandon Johnson scored 29 in a game.
Yeah,
You've had Quentin DeBunge, like I mentioned, had 27 last night, and you had Ezra with a 24-point game. That's pretty impressive to this early in the season have already had 4 guys that have had 24 points or more in a game.
Do you
that's
guys
what.
think we worked so much on our offense on the offseason because our defense was so good last year and our weak point was scored that maybe we worked so much on our offense that we didn't concentrate as much on defense? And
It could.
that's why we look a little different on the court
It
this
could be
year.
because usually it's the other way around. The defense usually in basketball, your defense a lot of times will be ahead of the offense. But
I'd say no shot because of Mike Schwartz.
Yeah, you
yeah,
wouldn't think so, but
No.
no. I think the difference, Kyle, what you're talking about though, is you do bring a great point. These guys have been working hours and hours and hours in the gym, just shooting more, and I think that they had the. I think the defense is going to improve, and obviously with Schwartz being like a defense guru, it's kind of like having Houston being a defensive coach. Schwartz is a defensive coach, and so it's great to see because the defense is something that it can be fixed and something that we'll definitely need to have as we move forward, and especially a great opponent like George Mason on Saturday. By the way, speaking of George Mason, JR, he's going to be representing Pirate Nation at George Mason this Saturday. Is JR's got a home in every state, I think, right, Bubba?
Yeah,
I'm
it
what,
sure.
what
seems that way at times. But a little bit about the Patriots. George Mason is off to a 4-1 start. They let's see, they opened the season with a 72-61 win over Monmouth, then 67-45 winners over Austin P. Uh, uh, Defeated Cornell 90-83, then a 5-point loss to Charlotte, and most recently
where was that at?
the game
Was that
against
at Charlotte?
Charlotte. I believe it was in a tournament.
Okay.
I'll see if I can.
Was that the one that we played in last year or year before with Liberty?
I'm not
That
sure.
Charlotte tournament, the one that we had at
I know the
Spectrum.
tournament you're talking about. I'm not, but I'm not. I don't know if this was.
Okay,
It was. Let's see. It was at the Jacksonville Classic.
all right. So it's not the same thing. Okay, tournament,
No,
but not the same thing.
yeah, 54-49 lost to the 49ers. That was their only loss, and then they bounced back with the. South Dakota State has been pretty good in recent years, and they defeated the Jackrabbits 73-71.
Okay.
So,
Should be a tough game.
No doubt. It's on the road. So that's good. And then
It is very tough to win on the road. How
yeah.
does Si say it, Bubba?
it's so tough to win on the road. So tough to win on the road.
Well,
But they are led by Keyshawn Hall. Keyshawn Hall is averaging a double-double through 5 games, 17.8 points and 11 rebounds. So look out for the 6'7" guard out of Cleveland, Ohio, sophomore Keyshawn Hall.
Yeah, they're that good.
Yeah,
hey, by the
Keyshawn Hall is that good.
He's that good.
By the way, the next
Yeah.
home game will be one of Kyle's favorite teams, and that's UNCW Dub, and that'll be next Thursday night.
Yeah.
The 30.
One of my favorite teams, absolutely. Love
I
them.
say that sarcastically
Speaking of
because we all know
UNC
that.
Wilmington,
Does
the
any
Seahawks
does any East Carolina fan like UNC Wilmington?
Negative.
the Seahawks, they had an interesting result today. It's a score that totally
Oh yeah,
surprised me, and they led the game by 1 at halftime. They were taking on App State, and I believe this was in the tournament that you were referencing, Dave. It's the Fort Myers tip-off.
okay.
But the Mountaineers, after trailing the Seahawks 34-33 at halftime, outscored UNC Wilmington 53-22 in the second half
Good God.
to go on to the 86-56 victory.
The Wilmington, usually if you think about basketball, UNC
Well,
does.
that was in the tournament year before last. Is that coach still there?
Yes.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, I'm not saying the App is a joke in basketball. I'm just saying Wilmington has much more of a tradition than App State. But
Yeah,
yeah,
traditionally, yes,
This-
yes,
it was
definitely.
It was one of those things that wouldn't, if you'd have said App State won, it would not have shocked me. But to see,
not like that is what we're saying.
because I mean they were losing the game at halftime, and then it just shot lights out in the second half for the game. They shot
53 points in the second half.
Yeah, 53-22 App
That's
State in the second
unbelievable.
half. They shot 60.3% for the game, 35 out of 58.
Good God.
And then they absolutely hammered.
How many threes?
They not an outright. I mean, 8 out of 22. So I mean, shot it okay, but nothing crazy.
Oh, I thought they would.
You'd have thought they
Yeah.
hit 18.
Yeah, that's what.
But
I thought they were just on fire from threes, because to make that many points, 53 points in the second half? That's nuts. Wow.
They hammered the Seahawks on the glass, 43-28.
There you go.
So that's something
that's the
to keep
difference.
an eye on when the Seahawks come to Minji's, 9 days from now.
Yep, the very end of November. Paint it purple, and we'll have University of Maryland Eastern Shore December 4th, and December 9th is the one. Hey, Kyle, you guys are come with me December 9th. South Carolina, baby, you and Jessica, and you're gonna love. Bubba, tell them about the new seats.
Yeah, it's much more comfortable than the ones in the upper arena. So, yeah, Kyle, you definitely need to take Dave up on the offer.
Do you have an end seat?
I do. I'll let you have the end seat. I'm that much of a friend.
Yeah,
I like the end seat, but
if there are armrests on the seats.
Yes, and you can pull it up or down.
You can put them up. You can put them up.
Yep.
And there's the end seat. Okay, I might go.
By the way, Bubba and I have been bragging. The lighting is 10 times, not even 10. What would you say, 100 times better, Bubba? The lighting now is unbelievable now.
Yeah, just the atmosphere, bigger time feel. You have, I mean, obviously, we've only played 5 games, and sure they experimented with the lighting prior to us playing a game, but as the folks at East Carolina said, they're still working through a lot of things there, discovering exactly all the ways they can use those to enhance the atmosphere. So
I love that somebody had the wherewithal to hit them after we hit that shot and turn the lights out in the place. That was pretty cool.
Hey, by the way, Kyle, we need to, you and I have been talking, and Bubba, the three of us, maybe Matt too, we need to have that lighting, the LED lighting in Dowdy-Ficklin.
We definitely do.
We got.
How
much does that cost?
I don't know. We got more important things to worry about. At some point, the lights will have to be upgraded. It's an inevitability.
And the scoreboard.
And when you do it, that's when you'll do it.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's definitely down the totem pole on our list of priorities. But when the lights do have to be upgraded, then we'll move to that. But,
Justin has a question. He's saying, how do you guys think this international road trip will help in development or recruiting?
Yeah, I was asking that earlier, Justin. That I'd love to see the success rate for those kinds of things. In recruiting, if we have much interest in international talents, it's fantastic, because then you can go actually look at them in person instead of just seeing game film and whatever. Or you may get on the kid's radar that you wouldn't otherwise, that are being recruited by some bigger schools. So I think for recruiting purposes, it has to be. I could be wrong on that, but it's just my opinion. I would think it would have to be fantastic.
Yeah, and Coach Schwartz, keep in mind, guys, Coach Schwartz is an expert on international recruiting. If you look at DeBouget, there's different players that have come over he's from France. And
you have, obviously, we have multiple guys
Yep.
from France. You have
They
Logan.
come from France.
You have you have Logan Bourgeois, Quentin de Bunge, then you also have from Spain. You have
Speaking of Spain,
Valentino Pinedo
Pinedo.
from Madrid.
Yeah, that's where Kyle's going next year to watch. He's going to have a credential,
and then you have Benjamin Bayela from France as well.
I forgot about him being
Now,
from
so
France.
let me ask you: do these games get covered? Will we have something to watch during the summer?
If they'll let us do it, they'll let us do the games. No,
No, I mean, are they? I know, like exhibition games, you can't be televised and stuff, but can does the NCAA allow this to be aired on ESPN Plus or the radio network? Is what I'm asking.
I am not.
Or are they available somewhere online somewhere else?
That would be cool if they did. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think ESPN has done like some of the bigger schools, right?
See if some of Valentino's family or some of the other guys' families, and we can get a production going. They can be John Packer.
I knew you were going there, Bubba.
It would just be cool if it's allowed. It would during the summer you kind of need some sports there after baseball, and it would kind of fill a little void.
Yeah, Bubba,
700 live viewers for ECU UCLA on Facebook.
That was nuts. But Bubba, you remember there's been some they do more. I think it's legal, Kyle, to answer your question, because I've seen some of the bigger programs like Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina. He says he's going to try to go. Justin, that would be awesome. He says
the transporter.
He needs to set up you can set up a feed.
Need to set up a feed.
Absolutely. And we'll put it on the
sports fall guy.
Yeah, and then Justin will be doing live reports from Spain and France. We'll make him stay up in 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Speaking of 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, fellas, it is 11:45 Eastern Standard Time, and I got to get before I get in the morning, so I am checking out. Great win tonight. Again, if you did not watch the beginning of Sports Center on ESPN2 tonight, we were the top story on Sports Center at the 10:30 broadcast. So pretty cool stuff. I don't know, maybe the only time in history East Carolina's been the top story on Sports Center.
And it's a good story
too. So, all right, guys. Look, everybody, thanks for listening. The show will continue with Dave and Bubba. So long, guys.
Good night. Over and out. All right. Bubba, certainly we were talking about this team being 4-2 and some matchups coming up. Of course, the next game is on Saturday at 2 o'clock. We'll have that game obviously coinciding with that'll be George Mason in Fairfax near our good buddy JR's house in the nation's capital, right near it. Northern Virginia, that'll be on ESPN Plus along with our game against Tulsa in football. So it's that time of year. Just disappointed they're at the same time, but we'll do that. And Justice says he'll do that'll be an OT, brother. That's the name of our show. He said that he'll do a nice playback. But we'll have we'll have overtime. Hey Bubba, will that be the European Pirate basketball overtime? Can we call it that? All right. See, there you go, Justin. You got your own show coming in the summer of 2024, and nobody knew about it, but we did. So cool stuff there. Do you have anything, Bubba? I know that we're, like you said, we're 11:45. You and I both have to get up early, but were there some other stats you wanted to talk about before we go?
Yourself.
Okay.
We got out of school today, and I'm sure Justin can relate. Justin, I'm sure perhaps had a half day today, as did I. And
okay.
Should we choose, we can sleep in a little tomorrow.
He says yes.
And he says yes.
I had an easy day today too, because I got to give a shout out really quick, Bubba. One of our fans, he is a Pirate. His name is Jason Williams. We met at ECU in March of 1993. He's from the Washington area. and he was sworn in today as a district judge for the Maya District, Martin, Beaufort, Washington, Terrell, and Hyde counties. It's a 5 county district, and I wanted to give him a shout out because he's a pirate, and that swearing in ceremony, those judges, it doesn't happen like every day, or they haven't had that many that have been sworn in over the years. Over the last 50 years, I think there's been 9 judges or something like that in our district. So shout out to him. He's a great pirate. Really proud to be a pirate. It was a great day to be a pirate, to have him being sworn in today as an ECU grad. And then we had the big win tonight. He's the one that talked me out of, I've never told you this, Bubba, he's the one that talked me out of law school. I was going to go to law school after ECU, and he's a year older, so he talked me out of it. But congratulations to him, and congratulations to the pirate. And I'll pass it back to you. Before I forgot, I wanted to make sure I gave him a shout out.
Yeah, no doubt. And looking at some of our season numbers now through 6 games, we have 4 guys averaging in double figures. RJ Felton, as I mentioned, just over 20 points a game. RJ's essentially averaging 20 and 8. Brandon Johnson, 15 and 8. You have Ezra at 14 and a half and 5.5. And then Quentin DeBunge, 11.2 and 3.7. And then you have Jaden Walker. Jaden's 8.5 and 4.5. And Bobby Pettiford's 8.3. So you have 6 guys that are averaging 8.3
Wow.
points or more. So hopefully that balanced scoring will continue as the season progresses. Pirates averaging 82 points a game, and shooting. You'd like to see this number improve. I think it is an improvement from last year, but minimally thus far. 33.6% from 3. But how about RJ Felton? RJ Felton has significantly improved his 3-point shooting. He is at 40%.
Wow.
Through 6 games, 12 out of 30. So hopefully RJ will continue to light it up. Quentin DeBunge, we saw what he's capable of last night, 7 out of 10. But in the other 5 games, he's just 3 out of 24. So just need to see more consistency from Quentin. And then I talked about Bobby Pettiford tonight, knocking down the first 4 3-pointers of his East Carolina career. And then in the Pirates from the line, we shot 61 more free throws than our opponents thus far, shooting 161 compared to 100 for the opposition. We are 70.2%, not bad. You look at Ezra's 28 out of 49, so he's shooting, between 30 and 35% of our free throws, and it's just 57.1%. So you take out those, and what we've made 85 of 112, which is probably 77 or 78% if I had to guess. So all in all, not bad. You'd like to see Ezra get that. He's not going to shoot them the way Brandon Johnson or RJ do, for sure. But if he can get that up to about 65, between 65 and 70%, that would be a solid number.
No doubt. By the way, we'll give some comments really quick. Justin Butt says, we got a heck of a ball club. He says, I think this team will be special. Chuck chimes in, says, need better defense, better free throw percentage. And he's saying free throw percentage free throw shooting got to improve, but we've been shooting better than that, haven't we? Well, tonight I know we were about on 70%, right, Bubba?
Well, those numbers that I just went over, I mean, we're 70.2% for the season.
Yeah.
So all on the whole, outside of Ezra, which is a big thing because Ezra has shot 49 out of 161.
I mean, he goes to the line a lot.
And you certainly want to see that continue as the season progresses. So, that comes out to be he shot just over 30% of our free throws. So that's obviously even bigger deal of him shooting just 57.1. So that brings the team average from 77 or 78 down to 70, and 70 is not a bad percentage, not a great percentage, but
It's like a par, right? 70
yeah,
is kind of what you
probably.
want,
If
but
I had to guess, before we wrap this show up here in a couple minutes, I'll see where that ranks in the NCAA. My guess is probably middle, maybe 150th or something, probably middle of the pack out of the 332 or so teams.
yeah, Justin says as the year goes on, we will be okay. And I love how Chuck says we're 8 deep. Yeah, we're playing a lot of players right now. Really proud of this. And Jay Cutler says, I'm really liking this team. Free throw shooting is something that could be cost us if we don't improve. But like we said, we're at 70%, Jay, and not happy with that. But knowing this team in the past is a lot better than what we used to see. Not that it's great, but it's an improvement from years past.
Yes, and I said 332 or whatever, 351. I thought that number was low, but we're just like we thought, middle of the pack. We're 180 out of 351.
Chuck says we need to beat UNCW. And like we just talked about, they lost to App by 30 today. No doubt about that.
But yeah, don't let that one game fool you, because I
Things
think
like
it's
that can
one of
happen in the
those things.
tournament.
Yeah, it's
They
perfect
may have been
storm.
out of a
App State, I think, does have what will prove to be a pretty good team, but um, I think it
don't
was.
take the Seahawks for granted.
I think if they played again, it it would not shock me at all to see UNC Wilmington beat them. Um, but
The
yeah,
War on the Shore is coming
yeah,
back, Bubba, Thursday, November 30th.
UNC Wilmington, UNC Wilmington will be a strong test 9 days from now, next Thursday night.
That's a great ball club over the years, and I take nothing for granted when it comes to the Seahawks, for sure. In fact, Justin says 1 game at a time. Coach Butts says 1 game at a time, so we'll go there for you.
And Jake
And
Cutler says, "Where are we on Kim Palm?" I have
yeah,
to look. I want to
good night,
say
Chuck.
that if just going off what I saw, a typically reliable poster put on Hoist the Colors, Jay. It was, I want to say, maybe 175, 180, something like that. But I'll see if we can get that number before we get out of here.
All
And
right.
and
In
then
fact,
Grimesland Bigfoot says this team's only going to get better as the season goes on.
yep.
No doubt. We've seen if we can continue to get the balanced scoring that we've gotten thus far, and have a few guys outside of those big three, and you see Bobby Petford stepping up, Jaden Walker, Quentin DeBunge. We know what you're going to get for the most part out of Brandon Johnson and RJ. They're probably our two most consistent guys. Ezra has been more consistent this year. One of the big things I would like to see Ezra improve on is some of the kind
Oh,
of highlight reel plays that he tries to make at times. Just make the routine play. We talked about that. I guess it was Sunday afternoon. You remember there was at least once, if not twice, he tried to make a behind the back pass, and it's like all he had to do. It wasn't a situation, where that was necessary. Just make the two hand chest pass and make the routine plays.
if you're just joining us or if you're listening to the podcast driving right now or whatever you're doing, JR says that we're 192 currently on KenPom. So there you go. Justin said, let's enjoy the victory, guys. And we definitely are. In fact, after, I don't know about you guys watching a game, it takes me a couple hours to wind down. So I'm finally getting to the point where I can go to bed and go to sleep, for sure. And you have I know, Bubba, I'll pass it to you. I know you have the video ready to go.
Yeah, for those of you, obviously, you saw the ESPN Plus angle, but thank you to Jared Plummer as always, at ECU Jungle on X.
Thank
Very
you,
appreciative
Jared.
of him giving us the permission to use his videos on our YouTube channel, and then also on our live podcast like this. And here's the way it looked from the purple seats. There, either just in the upper part of the lower arena or in the upper arena, from Jared Plummer's cell phone there, as the Pirates hit the shot to beat Kennesaw State.
This is East Carolina great Gabe Mikulas, and we're talking Pirate basketball on the Sport Objective, your home for the best ECU hoops coverage.
Hey, this is East Carolina shot block king Musa Badian, and we're talking Pirate basketball on the Sports Objective, your home for the best ECU hoops coverage.